our day and age, communication is an art. If you are aware of current psychosocial literature, you'll see that one of the chief problems that bother young people are the people that are concerned with the stature of people today. You will see that first on the agenda is the problem of communication. I'd like to explain what it actually means. We have become so problematic. People have become so problematic that the art of straight talk, to speak straight, you'll find it's very rare. When we want to say something that's meaningful, to say it in a calm and collective manner, not circuitous, not around, not above, not exaggerated, but directly to the point, is a rarity. Not with an ulterior motive, not with guile, not with diplomacy, but to speak direct talk is today enough. There was a very, very big Oived Hashem. He was a genius. The name is irrelevant to this book. Who in his word speaks about Diburim Amitiyim. Diburim Amitiyim. For a person to have the ability, to speak conversation, Diburim are conversation, true conversation, direct conversation. I'll tell you something. I know young men that are terrified, that are absolutely, they have such defenses, such fortresses in front of them. I know a number, not one, not two, of young men, like golden people, who have the greatest difficulty speak direct things. You listen to mothers. Very few mothers have the art of dealing directly with the problem, of saying the thoughts that relate to the problem. You read it in any book. It's very, very interesting, Oh, you're stupid. What is the fact that you have a problem with calling you stupid? What do you... That's already not communicating. That's giving vent to your anger. And giving vent to who knows what that lies in your machine, in your character, your mitzvah. But to be able to speak directly to the problem, to be able to speak directly, to see the proper words without having your vision clouded up by emotions, by impulses, by this is a very good job. And I want to tell you something. It's very hard. You're sitting on a Pandora's box. For a person to, how do they say, talk, it doesn't have to be abrasive. It doesn't have to be abusive. It doesn't have to be explosive. For a person today to speak direct, honest talk, You know, look me in the eye and tell me direct, honest talk. It's a rarity today. As if the people are humorous and this and that is a smoke screen. It's a cloud. And I want to tell you something. I'm not a psychologist. I didn't come here to teach you psychology. I didn't come to teach anything. I come to learn. But it's in Torah. This is Torah, you know? The Doiver Emes B'Levava. For in davening we say in the preface to the davening before Ber Shama, the Doiver Emes B'Levava, for a person to speak, that his words should communicate, you know, it should add up one for one. Not that I'm saying something that I want to fool you. Not that I'm saying something that I want to impress you. Or not that I'm saying something that I want to wiggle out of a tough situation. But I'm addressing myself to what is at hand. With all the honesty I possess, today is a big madrega. And if you ask me something, I'll tell you a phenomenal thing, you know? You know, you'll think I'm crazy. You'll think that I'm... People that hear me mention this again and again. You know, Mrs. Dingo should live till 120. She made 100, let her make the other 20 years. You speak to Mrs. Dingo. I'm amazed. She's a woman of 100 years old. She's a dear friend of a lot of people of us. We just celebrated her 100th birthday. When you speak to her, and I went last year to speak to her, and I sat there about a half hour. I was amazed. It was like I was standing on top of a mountain breathing fresh air. I was amazed at the directness, you know, of her words, how it addressed itself, how it came out of her throat. Emes Diburim. You know, this thing of defenses, you know, that they give it a name defenses, give it a name defenses, give it a name shells, call it whatever you want. But we have tons of them. It's very, very difficult. This is a problem. You know, because first of all, you know, it's very involved. You talk. The first thing you can't speak, you can't speak. Bolach wal kast, bolach wal toy. Says a Moshe Rabbeinu, Mimanu Goru, the Moshe Rabbeinu. Says a Moshe Rabbeinu, the Onav Nikolodom, that when Vayiksoy Palachaya, when he was angry in the Mohammed Midian on the soldiers, and then the next thing they asked him a simple halacha about Phyllis Caleb, he didn't know. He told him, I don't know, I have to ask the Rebbe Shlomo. The Gemara says, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know a simple halacha. The Gemara says, because they incited him to pass and to anger, this clouded already his thinking. He says, I can't answer it. To us, anger is not even considered an evil, it's not even considered a sin. We say we can't control ourselves. Immediately we vindicate ourselves, we build up extenuating circumstances, and we do things out of anger, but we fail to realize that whatever you do out of anger, you could erase it. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. I tell you, I talk to you, it took me years and years, not that I can control my anger, I find a great difficulty in that, but it took me years and years that I consciously know that when I'm angry, whatever, I try to keep my mouth closed, because I know that I'm going to make a mistake. If it's not a gross mistake, I know I know it's not me. I know something has enveloped me. But the art, whether it's anger, whether it's the art of direct talk of Emes Diburim, this art I saw by old Jews. I saw it, I'm telling you, I saw it by old Jews, old men and old women. Yeah. You know, sophistication is something. But sophistication is dangerous. We live, you know, in a society where we're all sophisticated. I mean, this is the society. We're not the generation before us. We're informed, and we have access, and we have a broad experience, and we're exposed to a lot of things, and we are sophisticated. There's a spectrum of how sophisticated a person can be, but we are sophisticated. But sophistication is dangerous. People don't talk to each other. Friends, emes diburim. Direct communication is something that it's shoirish is in emes. I had today, it's difficult to me. Someone called me and made an appointment, very prestigious people. They came to me today, and I tell you my emotions. And they requested something in me which was just totally absurd. Totally absurd. People are prestigious people, you know. So I had to force myself. Actually, it was a toil. I had to force myself to say, for me, because the people were very impressive people, I had to say to them, I cannot do it. And I was listening to myself say, I cannot do it. And the more I heard myself say, I cannot do it, they were pressuring me. So I said to myself, my true feelings are coming out. I'm saying, I assess the situation, you know. I thought to myself, if I take a diplomatic route and say, well, at this moment I can't see my way clear, call me at another day, or I'll get back to you, I'll call you on the phone. I mean, I know all that baloney, you know. I can, you know, you don't call me, I'll call you, you know. But I said to myself, what am I, crazy? I'm a slave? What is this? I have to be direct, not abrasive. You can trust me, I wouldn't hurt them, but I said, gentlemen, I can't do it. Then they pressed me. I said to them, it is unnatural for me to do such a thing, and I cannot be unnatural. I cannot do it. And I felt, I breathed as I was saying it. I addressed myself to the situation. The shirish, what you're asking is not a secular question. Although in secular circles they're bothered by this question, they're bothered by this problem, but you have to have the ability to be direct, not to insult the person, not to abuse the person. Communication is an art in saying, in directing yourself to the problem, in directing yourself to the problem, not involving anything extraneous. Not today it's a man, there was a big executive, his name is irrelevant. I read in his autobiography that they wrote on him that his offices were on the 27th floor of the building. And that when you went up to do business with him, if he told you no, you finally discovered that he told you no when you got out of the elevator in the lobby downstairs. Because till you got downstairs, you were under the impression that he said yes. That's not communication. It might be good business in his concept, but that's not communicating with people. Communication is emes diburim, whether it's between a husband and a wife. And it's not easy. It's not, it's not easy. You're talking about an avoider, which even between the Rebbe Shalom. We say that we look in the Siddur, you know. Let's have the Siddur, you know. Sometimes I wish that I could take one pasuk in the Siddur, and if davening takes 3 hours in the morning, if I could keep on screaming the same pasuk over again and over again till my ears hear what my mouth is saying, I wish I could do it. Communication is, and not everybody's ready to communicate. People are frightened, scared stiff. People are scared. You've got to know this. There are people that I try to speak to for years. I cannot do it. I have to be an acrobat. An acrobat. I have to be, to get in a word. An acrobat. It's a problem. A very widespread problem. People. But a person who wants to live with the emes, you have to, it's hard. You're going to encounter problems. People are not ready to speak. People are not open. People are closed. People are afraid. People are hurt. People are sensitive. Their whole personality is raw. It's raw. Communication. Very few people know how to communicate. I'm just telling you, I'm not giving you any solutions. The solutions are, I find a person who is dovuk, a person who is strongly attached to Avodas Hashem, a person who can daven with a lot of kavanah. I find a person who could pour himself out in davening, that person can communicate with other people too. I find that if I can daven well, if I can put myself into davening and pour myself out into davening, I can speak to anybody. It's a peculiar thing. The relationship might be obvious. But the problem is a terrible problem. The problem is a global problem. It's a problem between a husband and a wife. It's a problem between a family. It's a problem between friends. It's a problem between parents and children. It's a problem between parents and children. I have seen it, and you have seen it. I have seen where fathers or mothers talk to the children, they don't talk to them. I had a situation, I tell you, it's such a tragic thing, where a son told me, he's 22 years old, very that at age 18, he was a problem. He had to be home at 10 o'clock. And he maintained that he wanted to rebel. And he came home 3 in the morning. His father woke up, he beat him up from the top of his head to the bottom of his head. Now, I want to tell you something. There's a time when you have to punish a child. It might even be physical. But this father, he's a big Talmid Chacham, never communicated his true feelings as a person to his child. He always spoke from a position, from a patriarchal position. I am your father. He never communicated as a person to a person to his boy. The boy is a problem. But as a person, he never got off the pedestal to come and talk. Say what you feel. You're coming with brute force to smash a problem. He didn't smash the problem. He made it worse. He aggravated the problem. People would be, who knows how many times bigger than they are, and they could talk. People talk, oh, you could sit a whole evening with people. I could sit with a whole evening with them. I have a little boy in yeshiva. There's a problem. And I'm not offering this as a solution. Purim, he got drunk. The boy's not communicative. He's secretive. Purim, he got drunk. So they explained, they spoke, they said everything, but they didn't, the essence of their uniqueness did not articulate itself. They spoke like the Mitzrayim, and they spoke like this, and they spoke like that. I know, if I tell you a problem, I was just discussing with somebody a problem, somebody has family in the West. Fine people from New York. So they're making a fancy chassan. So they're making a kosher chassan. Now, I told this person, I know that the person that's making this not kosher chesed is doing it because they're in a fancy circle, and over there it's cool. You don't make kosher. That's not this person. This person can't speak. This person cannot go and say, "Listen, I am kosher. I want to be kosher. I'm marrying off my child. What do you want from me? I'm not bringing any. I'm not separating men and women. I'm not bringing anybody with a strangle. There's no real. I am kosher. I want to be kosher. What do you want from me?" Can't say it. Because it's going to be I'm Beverly Boulevard. A person passed off, that person cannot speak. I know the person. The person is flooded, is in a society, jet set. But when they go to sleep at night, when she puts her head on the pillow, she says, I love it for its precaution. This is a blatant example. This is a blatant example. You can feel it with your hands, but there are subtleties in communication. A person can even say, I like you, or I don't like you. You're touching on a problem. You're touching on a problem. This is a global problem. In Yiddishkeit, this thing, you know that the Chassidim that hardly spoke. It's not, I don't want to say the name, they hardly spoke. Why? Because the Chassidus was built on solid emes, and they didn't want to say anything that's not 100% emes. You speak to a child, and there are other emotions involved that are extraneous, that are sediment in relationship to a problem. You're not communicating. You ask me, it's one of the hardest things to do. Doide emes b'levavoi. I once fell in a trap. I met a person that I began to communicate with him. Then I found out he's demented. But I I spoke to him, I spoke to him. I found out that he's not alive. August, what do you think? I spoke with him, Torah and avoided. I used to get up early in the morning. Rabbi will tell you at 6, I used to call him in the morning. He had a talent, you could speak to him. It's a big problem. It needs a lot of thought. We don't have the time. We don't have the time or the situation. We don't have it. If you look at our schedules, in Europe, years ago, women came to shul every day. This institution that there was a Weiber shul was a fantastic institution. The shul was open all day, and they davened 3 times a day. And women came. There were women. What do I mean they came to shul? I don't know how it was built, what they did with their children. Maybe they were older, but they came to shul, and it was a place where, if you say Tehillim, and he said in Yiddish, it was a spiritual, a ruchnistic shower. You know what I mean? You had time to think, you had time, we say the Jewish movement, but you had time to evaluate yourself. You have time to recognize your own problems. We don't even recognize our problems. We don't know when to step back. We don't know when to go forward because we don't think. We don't have time to think. Push it to sit down and think. Yes, of course we're thinking. We're always thinking. But to do deep thinking, to evaluate the situation objectively, to see the aspects of the situation, the positive aspects, the problematic aspects of the situation, what can be done, what should be done, where are we, what are we? We don't have time to think. If you don't have time to think, you can't talk to them as a good word. We keep on going down, we escalate, we keep on going and going and going. You don't know where you are, your mind is not clear. They say that a plane, there's a ratio that for every hour that a plane is in the air, that's what I once heard, the big plane, they have to be 2 hours in the garage for overhauling, for inspection. So I said to somebody, Rav Shlomo, for every hour that I am with people, I should be 2 hours alone. I seriously mean it. If you're in earnest. The big Gedolim spoke. Emes Diburim, what you say convenient. This is a very, very big problem. And to live with it requires cheshbon and nefesh cheshbon. The person must have cheshbon and nefesh and to be able to go against yourself and to criticize your own self. This is... we came out of Mitzrayim, we were speaking every language in the world. Every language of Golos, every idiosyncrasy, every Hevel Havolim was speaking. Every Hevel Havolim of Golos. I spoke to an educator this week. We were discussing a certain problem. I'm not a smart man, but it didn't seem to me, I seem to have a simple solution. He started to tell me a solution, which was so involved, which meant so much pressure on little children. Why? Because his solution was sophisticated, and certain groups of parents would be impressed. I saw it. What am I going to talk to him? What am I going to speak to him? Doesn't hear. Simplistic. He calls me a fundamentalist, a simpleton. Very hard. Very hard. Oh, yeah, it's so hard. You can't, man, people don't, there's certain people you can't forget it. You have to wait. In a million years, people will. It's not their fault. You can't judge them harshly. It's painful for them. They're afraid to talk. Afraid to talk. Pesach, when we were reborn, when Rav Shlomo took us out and we became aware of our relationship with Rav Shlomo, Rav Shlomo showed us this and we saw what that's right. Who wants to know what they treat after Torahs and the Kakatois, like the Medrash says? Who wants to know about their theaters and their baseball fields and their this and that? I want it. We began to speak the Jewish tongue, emerged. We began to speak what we want. Only through tefillah, through cheshbon and nefesh, through deed, the person should. Oh. Any other questions? Yes? Oh. Who wants to ask the question? My daughter can ask the question at home. I'm communicating directly. Yes, go ahead.
I want to know if a person has a problem, how to keep it from making the person into a nervous wreck,
I'll tell you. Tonight we have such heavy questions. Maybe it's ridiculous comments before Pesach. First of all, it's good that you have a close friend that you can trust. It says in all the Sfarim, it says that Yehuda, Kama, the Isha Gulomi, Chumash, that whole Parsha Chumash He had an Isha Gulami that he spoke to him. He told him this and this has happened, this and this happened. It's good if a person can have a chaver told. It's one thing. You have to speak to a lot of times. If you articulate a problem to an intelligent person, when the problem is locked up in you, it goes out of proportion. It grows in all kind of peculiar ways. If you have a good friend, a good chaver, that you can speak to, and you verbalize the problem, the person listens, the community shrinks and it becomes more into normal proportion. Have a good, intelligent friend. Person has to have a rebbe too. To have someone to speak to. I know. Or Hashem, I have someone to speak to. People to speak to. Here, the person can't handle the world by himself. You can't. The person must communicate with other people, with a friend, with a rebbe, with a teacher, with a person can't contain everything in himself. That's not a way to do it. By verbalizing the problem, it helps a lot. It helps a lot. Helps a lot. And tefillah, the person verbalizing the problem to someone, alone for a person to keep himself a problem in this day and age, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. The question when you misspell, when you daven to somebody who is in a tzara, what? You have to say the words. Davening today, to say the words. How is it say that the Baal Shem Tov says, what it says by Noam, boil a teva, come into the ark. The word teva means the word also. You have to go into the word. What was? You have to put in our head into the word. The words, boil our table, you have to concentrate and say the words. And concentrate on the words. Thoughts. I also have to say, what thoughts can I put? What are my thoughts? I said to myself, what kind of thoughts? What are my thoughts? What? Who am I? What am I? What are my thoughts? My thoughts are insane, are shallow, are meaningless, are stupid. What kind of thoughts can I put in? I said I could only say the words that are in the Siddur. I was looking in the Siddur. I concentrated on the Siddur. I stopped and I kept on saying it. I said out the word once and I kept on looking at the word and looking at it and looking at it and looking and I felt. That's all Rahman al-Boy. That's all you could do. You could look at the word and Rahman al-Boy. It's his words and we could say his words. Yeah.
I find this generation bound up by a lot of psychological problems. And what we're trying to do is like be normal.
Our pleasure. We're talking about communication.
But if you read, I was reading the Sefer last night. If you read about the Zolim of the past generations, I was wondering, what's our color like? With like working so much to get normal. I mean, when do we? I don't know when are we start? Are we doing like total, or are we like getting just normal? You know what I mean? Like.
Thank you. Let's talk. I'll tell you tonight. I'll tell you before Pesach. We're making a house cleaning. I'll tell you something. Miriam, I'll tell you something. How's that for? I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a few things. I must, the Rabbi Yitzchak Mibavitchev, you heard of him. said, Avinu Malkeinu, Horen Keren Yisrael Amecha. You hear? Listening? So, in Hebrew, the word Keren means a horn. Which that's what it means in that pasuk in Avinu Malkeinu. But the word Keren also means the capital investment, the initial investment of money. You hear? So he said, the Gemara says, numerous reasons why Klal Yisrael went into Golus. There's a whole bunch of reasons why Yidden went into Golus. To accomplish this, and to accomplish that, and to accomplish the other thing. So they once heard him davening, he says, Avinu Malkeinu Rabbi Shalom, Tatale says, Horen Keren Yisrael Amecha, you better take out your initial investment and don't look for profits. If you sent us into goals to make profit on us, you ain't going to make any profit. Take out your investment before you lose the investment. That's what I heard him say. Look, I cannot tell you why we are in goals. All I know is I have a munah that there's a reason. I also know, and you know, that what you talk about, getting ourselves straightened out, is not a Jewish problem. It's not specifically a Jewish problem. If you are aware of what's going on in the world, it's enough to make you crazy. I tell you, it's enough to make you crazy. And I'm not an alarmist. I am not an alarmist. I'm telling you, I'm a pretty conservative person. I know my thinking. The world, the world today, on one hand, we have a lot of comforts. We have a lot of plenty. We have things that 25, 30 years ago, listen, I remember when the iceman used to bring ice to the house. And in the winter time, we used to have a little box on our windowsill, and it was cold enough, that was the refrigerator. We were happy. Things were very simple. I remember our oven, I keep on telling them at home that our oven was a fantastic oven. I moved into the house, I had already 4 ovens. And this one has this gadget, that gadget, and it's self-cleaning. It's true, it's self-cleaning. It can really burn down the whole house. And things are, on one hand, we have a lot of comforts. We have we've advanced into fabulous ways. But on the other hand, we live in a very, very complex society. We have become very, very, very complex. And complexities take their toll upon a human being. And what you say about straightening ourselves out, yes, we must straighten ourselves out. Well, I believe that the Rebbe Shalom helps us. I believe that the Rebbe Shalom helps us. It's not us. It's not us. You go to Borough Park to have worse problems. You go to Williamsburg to have also different problems. Don't let us get any complexes. The whole world is steeped in problems. I told you, I don't know if I told you, I visited, a son of a professor visited me recently. His father's one of the most famous professors in a certain field. He wrote a classic book in that field, and the son became a religious Jew. So he was away a few years in Eretz Yisrael learning, and he came home, and he visited me a few weeks ago. So he went to this college town to visit his father. So he has a 15-year-old sister. She goes to a private school. You hear? Which private school? This school is sponsored and run by the university. It's supposed to be one of the best schools in the country, a private school. She says to her sister, how do you enjoy the school? She's unhappy there. Why are you unhappy? She is the only child in her class that have the 2 original parents. Either the rest of the kids have one parent, a mother or a father, they're divorced. Or they have a set of 2 parents, but one is not mine and one is mine. She's the only child in the class in the private. You're going to tell me this is normal? We have to be besimcha. What we have to do is hard. But I know that the Torah is Meshivas Nefesh. It's Machkimas Pesi. I know that a home with a meaningful Shabbos is a home with strength. And the Shabbos is hard to bring in, and it's hard to keep it meaningful. I know that a home where a mother learns something and where a father learns something, it's sanity. This is involved. Your father and mother don't have to learn. Your father and mother came from a place, you don't know where they came from. First of all, you can't talk about them, they were in the concentration camp. Then forget, don't talk to me about them. They're exempt. But on the plus part, they came from a culture which is, we don't have it. But we, Baruch Hashem, we have fantastic strength. We have fantastic things. Of course, it's a struggle to keep normal. Of course, it's a struggle to keep normal. You talk to me about the home. How many people are you going to find Pesach home here, Barak? If I tell you 80% of the population, maybe I give or take, either way, I'm off. Nobody's home. What do you mean? Where are they? You ever see a Pesach in a hotel? I spoke to a big beer. He told me I went once. I took a meal with brains. I never went again. Pesach! Sit by the Seder table, 5 minutes long. Whatever it is. Baruch Hashem, Torah is Meshivas Nefesh. The Torah gives us back our sanity. Of course we're struggling for our sanity. But we can have it. Nothing else. It's Machkimas Pesi. There is Machkimas Pesi. Without the Torah, I tell you, I never know if I would be here like that. Of course, problems. The Torah didn't create it. This is the door. We have a history behind us with idols, with all kinds of idols. All kind of idols. and we have intelligence to let the smash idols. What can we do? We're living in a society. We're living in such a society. I didn't make it. I don't know what the Rav Shlomo wants. All I know is that Hatzur Tonim Poi, Yichol Drochov Mishpah, ain't over.